Hello and welcome to the Online Warriors podcast. This is the latest episode. It is going to be an abbreviated episode as we celebrate the new year.
We're getting lit right now.
Well, yeah, we're currently. That's right. It's New Year's Eve. This episode comes out on New Year's Day. It's New Year's Eve. It's currently 11:56. So we have 4 minutes to record an episode before the ball finishes dropping, and
you're gonna hear heavy necking.
From who?
Nerbomber.
You guys, obviously.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
I like how you referred to yourself in the third person. I got Nerbomber and Techtic here. You've already heard from both of them. I'm Illeagle 86, of course. This is probably a good time for me to make a confession about the new year. Happy New Year to all who are listening, and all of your families and friends, and all that stuff. I think this is now going to be year 3, maybe year 4. I'm not really keeping track of me not being awake at midnight on New Year's.
Wow,
that's so.
Can
sad.
I just say? It's not sad. It's the best thing.
I like it though because
PSA.
it makes it easier for me to kiss him at midnight.
Oh.
That is horrible. No, I think that my family and I, as a tradition, we do a New Year's Day breakfast, and we're not like getting up at the crack of dawn and like going out to the chickens and getting the eggs, but like it's a lot better of an experience if I go to bed at like a crisp.
Can we make a
11 p.m.
massive breakfast on New Year's morning? Like I'm talking bacon. Waffle.
I have a prior plan, as I just mentioned.
I'm not asking you.
Yeah, go for it. Do what you want.
No, I said, can we?
Me? I don't cook.
No, like us together.
I don't cook.
Like as a New Year's, as a celebration of the new year, we're gonna talk through what we're excited about in 2025. But Techtic also wanted me to bring up the glasses. Techtic, you have a problem with the 2024 glasses, I assume, because a 4 doesn't make a good eyeball.
It was such a dumb set of glasses.
Do you have a set of 2024s right now?
No.
Why would I invest in those? Trash.
Right. You want the 2025s because it's about to be 2025. That's right. I'm here now. A 5 is kind of a good eyeball.
It's not a bad eyeball. I'm hyped for 6 though.
Oh my gosh. So is the presumption that the first 2 and the last digit are always going to be the eyeballs in a set of New Year's
Absolutely.
Glasses? Okay. A 2 is a decent eyeball.
No, sorry. The 2000 series have all been offset. They've leveraged the 0 and then the last number.
Oh, see, I don't like that. It's not centered. We got to change that.
I don't tell you, 2 sucks.
2 has the rounded top, so you could put an eyeball in there.
Yeah, but also whose eyes are that far apart?
That's a really good point, actually. Yeah, unless your nose is like massive across, you're probably not going to be able to have one eye in the 2 and one eye in the 5. I'm sure the glasses companies have it figured out. If I were to Google right now, I'm sure. Have you guys gotten your 2025 glasses yet? Do you even buy these things?
No, I don't buy any of this stuff.
Arts and crafts, baby.
Make a pair. Hey, listeners, go out, make a pair of 2025 glasses. Send us your candidates for approval on Blue Sky. At OW Leo 86 is my Blue Sky. We have at OW Nerbomber. We have at Techtic, and our main show account at OnlineWarriors, all.bsky.social, I should say. Hit us up there. Show us your best 2025 glasses designs, because clearly we're wanting for better quality eyewear to ring in the new year. Getting into 2025, it's going to be a big year for content, I think. First of all, the Online Warriors podcast, but second of all, there's a lot of shows, movies, games that are going to be hitting in the new year. So we kind of just wanted to all, as a communal exercise, this is going to be a little shorty today. We're just going to go around and say one thing we're excited for. This is giving Thanksgiving mom at the table energy. Say one thing you're thankful for. I think it's the right vibe. We're gonna get wholesome today. We're not gonna be negative at all. Nerbomber, chivalry is not dead. Ladies first, going into 2025. What is your most anticipated media thing / event going into 2025?
So, we usually talk about movies and video games on this podcast, and there are many of those that I'm very excited about. 2025 is going to be a great year for games. There's a bunch of cool movie franchises continuing in 25, but I'm actually looking forward to a book. So Frederick Bachman is an author. He wrote Beartown, Anxious People, and I love all of his books, and he's going to have another book coming out. He also wrote, oh boy, now I'm brain farting.
A man called Ova?
Yes.
Wasn't that him?
That was him, and they turned it into, I don't remember what they
A Man Called Otto.
Yeah, A Man Called Otto. They Americanized it, put Tom Hanks in a movie. I haven't seen the movie, but the book was incredible. And so he has a new book coming out in 2025. towards actually, I think the back half of the year. But I'm very excited about that because everything that he reads is just very emotionally insightful and also really just gripping. So I'm very pumped about that.
Yeah, it's going to be a big year for reading for me. I think I finished the year. I mean, the year's not over yet. I think I have like one more day. But like, I think I finished the year with like 19 books. There are certain books that I don't count. Like, Nerbomber, do you count how many books you read in a year? Are you keeping track of it?
This year, I hit 34 books on the year.
That is impressive.
It was actually a little light for me. Last year, I think I hit 42, but this year, there's just a lot going on, man.
I mean, we all know not all books are created equal, but there's also like, towards the end of the year, and I mentioned this on the show, like, I read a lot of Christmas books that I've read before, and some of them I read every single year. A Christmas Carol is one example. Like, I don't think that should count, so I don't count that. But I'm also reading. So it's like I kind of put myself in a weird situation every December. So I don't know. I'm going to continue not counting those, but lots of great books on the horizon for me in 2025 as well. Nothing I'm going to mention specifically like you did, but you know, when it comes to Golden Age mysteries, there's basically a constant just factory churning them out. So I shouldn't be wanting for any good reads. Techtic, I'm going to turn it over to you next as the gracious host that I am here. What are you especially hyped about in 2025?
So there's two games in particular that I want to mention that I'm really excited for. That's Pokemon Legends ZA, because I just want to see if they make a Charizard Z and bring back Mega Evolutions. That was like peak Pokemon development, and then they just like veered away from it and was like, yeah, we're never going to do this again. But everyone loved it, and like, why would you spit in the mouth of the fans? Rude. And then the other one that I want to make a mention of is Hades 2. That has been a game that's inspired me to try to do my own roguelite. That's been a game that I thought was absolutely fantastic. The indie developer came through, and it was a solo developed project. So like, there's just so much to love about Hades 1, and to just be hyped about Hades 2. Like, how could you not be excited? So I hope I'm not alone on that one as well.
Yeah, I think I might have mentioned this on the show previously. I almost bought Hades recently. I didn't mention this on the show because this happened in the past week. I got a Nintendo eShop gift card as one of my Christmas gifts for a crisp $20. And I was just kind of trolling around on the eShop as I often do. And by the way, there's some great sales on the eShop right now. I don't know who needs to hear that, but maybe it's you, listener. A lot of deep discounts. And Hades was on the short list, because I think it was like $10 or something, which is like kind of the same price.
Do it.
I went ahead and didn't buy it. This is not the point of me saying all of this, but I went ahead and bought Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, and it's amazing. So I'm not at all disappointed in my decision. But Hades, this is like the third time now that I've had some eShop money to spend, or have decided I want to buy a game, and just it kind of like gets to the finals and then just doesn't make the cut. So I think in 2025 it probably will, but it hasn't yet. So
I want
Hades
so
2 is certainly a big
to
deal.
dress as Hades 1 and 2 for Halloween, but the problem is I'm not jacked.
Well, you got 10 months, right? That's enough time to get jacked, I would assume. It depends. Very good. So you covered games. Nerbomber covered a book. This is a Homer take, you could say. I don't know if Homer take is probably not the right term, but like, guys, The Last of Us Season 2 is coming back. It's coming back. It's, I think, early 2025. I don't know if we know exactly when, but you guys know I'm a huge fan of The Last of Us, was a huge fan of the first season of the show. We talked about that kind of episode for episode for a little bit there on the show. If you haven't watched it yet or played either of the games, it's really fantastic. If you have watched the first season and or played the first game and want to know what's going to happen in Season 2, the second game is out there. You can play it. I recommend it. So really looking forward to that. Similar vein, sticking with shows, a show that I believe we've all watched here. I have a hard time keeping track of what shows you guys have watched and have not watched, but Severance is coming back.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe that's like mid-January. So like, if anything, I'm now at a point where I need to go back and either just rewatch the first season or like watch like a 20-minute YouTube video about what happened in the first season, because it has been so long since the first season of that show was like 3 years ago or something. So it's been a while for me. I'm going to have to go back and refamiliarize, but super, super excited for that show to come back. And so we kind of hit some major points. I don't know. I guess we can kind of go around the room, and I don't have a specific answer for this for what it's worth, but are there any movies that are coming out that we're specifically excited for in 2025, or is it going to be a dud year? Is that what we're just collectively deciding as a podcast?
The new Superman movie, I know I'm excited for. I know you're not super hyped about that. And also, there's a couple Disney live action remakes that I'm excited for that, again, I know you're not excited for. Like Snow White, because Rachel Ziegler was so good in the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. That made me excited for Snow White when I was not excited before, just because I thought she was incredible in that, and I'm looking forward to see what she can do with Snow White. And then Lilo and Stitch, because, I mean, I don't know, man. I like Lilo and Stitch. Come at me, bro.
Mickey 17, we talked about on the show. That would have been a couple months ago at this point, but that's the Robert Pattinson Keeps Dying in Space movie directed by Bong Joon-ho. I think that's going to be really good. I should also say that as I talk, I'm scrolling through kind of Rotten Tomatoes editorial most anticipated movies of 2025. Snow White's on here. Thunderbolts, we talked about on the show. Lilo and Stitch, as you mentioned. Oh, I'm an idiot. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. That is easily my number one most anticipated movie of the year. And I'm sure it's going to go real hard. Techtic, anything else to add? Or are you just not planning on watching any movies in 2025?
Yeah, movies have been tough to capture me lately. Like, a lot of them have been kind of good, but like the way I've been watching movies lately has been like surprise good. Like, I go in with zero expectations and go, oh, wow.
Right. I totally get that. I think in particular in the streaming era, you just kind of can throw something at the wall, like on a Friday night, and be like, I'm just going to watch this and hope it's good. And sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not, 2025 is going to be a great year. I also, before we close here, I want to just do a quick little PSA, and you guys can feel free to quiz me to prove it. But last week, I did get a direct request/order from you guys to start watching Hawkeye. And listener, believe it or not, I did.
About time.
I watched an entire episode in 3/4. I was almost done with the second episode, and I was called away urgently. So I don't need to spend a lot of time giving a review, if only because the show is so gosh dang old at this point. But it's fine. It's like, let me put it this way: on the scale of punishments, it is nowhere near as bad as Book of Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett was awful. I can't stress enough, you should not watch it ever. This one you can watch and it's fine. It's not like knocking my boobies off, but I wasn't really expecting it to. And it's fine.
That's all I wanted to prove to you, was that it wasn't as bad, because you were like, this is going to be horrible for the longest time. So
it's not bad. I think I will also give it some additional credit and say that when it came out, it was probably better. I would have been better off watching it immediately when it came out, because at this point, with the Marvel shine having essentially completely washed off of me, like getting back into it, I'm just so much more inclined to be derisive towards all of the, for lack of a better term, Marvel stuff that they're doing. Because make no mistake, they're just doing Marvel stuff. It's very, dare I say, formulaic. But that's not a bad thing. It's hitting the note. It's doing it with flair. So I think if I had watched it at the time, I probably would have appreciated it more than I do now. And even right now, I still appreciate it. But it's, like I said, it is capital F fine. So I guess more updates to come on that. I don't know. I don't know what updates I'm going to have. Again, I don't want to blast through airtime talking about a show that's been out for 3 years. But who knows? Maybe I will if it really starts to tickle my fancy. That brings us to the close of our mini-sode here. We're not going to be doing a quiz again. We're going to be doing a Yankee Candle quiz in early 2025 in the midst of January, and considering that Yankee Candle is often Christmas associated, that's going to make a little bit less sense, but y'all are just going to have to deal with that because we're still in the holiday spirit of togetherness and lack of conflict and competition, and I think that's a great thing. Going into 2025, those are the correct vibes. If you two have any resolutions, keep them to yourself. It's not that much. It's not for me to know. Resolutions are not to be trumpeted to the rooftops. They're internal goals, guys. That's my mini PSA.
I jive with that.
Yeah, I think that making resolutions performative probably on balance makes them less likely to actually be achieved. And I have no data to support that, so don't ask me. So that's it. We hope to see you all in 2025. We'll be back next week talking at you about the usual stuff. But until then, continue enjoying the liminal space between Christmas and New Year's, or I guess this comes out on New Year's, but I don't know. Enjoy the last day of time off before you probably have to go back to work if you're anything like us. Cheers, y'all. Stay safe and keep on podcasting.
Happy New Year.
Bye.